Hello, survivors. The world is dead. Long live the new world. When chaos reigns and the survivors sort things out in endless battles, we all need a place to calm down and take a breath. Well, you've found this place. Here, in the garage, you can learn a lot about the wastes straight from the devs. And don't forget that we now also have the Crossout show here. The best designers and drivers can compete for prizes. Get in, watch, take part. Make yourself comfy, fellas. It's go time. You know what? It's been a long time since we had some Leviathan here, which is weird, since this is a wonderful passive source of resources. We found a couple of crafts at the exhibition for our weekly test drive. If you also want to get in the show, share your works. We definitely check them out. A monumental Leviathan with more than 17,000 points of power. A walking tank with a humpback cabin and 14 cords on board is the first hero of today's test drive. It's moving on 6 mechanical legs. Dangerous generator adds 2 points of energy, increasing its total number up to 64 points, nearly all of which are used. In tune with the cords, 3 Spectre guns and 2 defenders are chattering on the battlefield. 3 executioners are installed to help them. With such intense rate of fire, coolers and increased ammo are more than necessary aboard. The guns are closely installed on the front of the Leviathan. That's why, when on the battlefield, it immediately casts a storm of bullets on any aim within sight. All its power is pointed at one direction. But the mechanical legs help quickly turn the body around. As practice shows, AI manages this perfectly. You've seen the weaponry already. The craft caught at the gunpoint is no more in a matter of seconds. Where the machine guns are not enough, the guns will do the rest. The only way to fight this juggernaut is to be constantly on the move and get behind it, or to scatter in front of it, distributing the fire among several crafts. One of the fastest giants based on scientists' workings, a quantum cabin, 15 synthesis emitters, and that's pretty much it. Emitters are installed in 3 rows with 5 guns in each. By standards of a Leviathan, the build is almost chiseled. Its combined mass is not even 8 tons. 4 prickly wheels are quite enough for fast movement. Laser is built to break stereotypes common for such types of craft. They're usually slow and clumsy due to their size. But when it comes to speed, this Leviathan may compete with common craft, or even excel them. And it can't be called weak in terms of power. Almost 14,000 points is a decent number. One can't call it an invincible craft. A coordinated team can easily neutralize a Leviathan, and the rest is not an issue. But the surprise effect and the following frustration of the attackers will provide temporary advantage. Depending upon the combat results, you may experiment with the build, change weaponry, or add parts of the skin, not sacrificing the sides of the build. Wisely chosen devices is the major difference between a good craft and an outstanding one. Additional modules get help out of a tight situation. Spot the enemies earlier, throw in some more energy points. Let's look at these small but important changes available in several categories. In Special Modules category, we have transmission radio and a lifting jack. capable of lifting the craft back on the wheels with no help of allies. Hardly anything needs to be additionally explained here. To get fuel in fights against other rivals, you need a barrel. A usual one adds 5 points of fuel, a rare one 10. An aggressive attack-oriented craft needs more bullets. Typical ammo increases the bullet number by 30%, an upgraded one nearly twice. Don't forget, you can't shoot for too long unpunished. Guns, especially rapid-fire, quickly overheat. You can solve this issue with 2 kinds of parts: radiators and coolers. First ones help weaponry heat slower. Second ones will get it back in business sooner. There are 3 radiators in the game: gunnery, improved, and powerful. You can see their parameters on the screen. And a couple of coolers, a common one with 50% and an improved one with 70%. Long range and slow craft need a scope. A common one guarantees range of 350 meters. Neutrino, 400 meters. It also has some other significant advantages: 2 zoom levels, target highlight, detecting the most explosive enemies' parts. Genesis Microfactory increases the number of drones by a quarter, but doesn't affect the rest of the weaponry. It deals 400 points of damage when destroyed. This part is unique. Invisibility Modules are one of the most sought-after additional parts in the wastes. Common Chameleon acts for 6 seconds, but the more popular Mach 2 guarantees up to 10 seconds of disguise. These parts are usually used to stealthily sneak in on an enemy or vice versa, get away as fast as possible from the flashpoint. For races or ram attacks, you'll need accelerators. Survivors usually use either a Rocket One or Hermes. Barrier 9 ensures active defense. It creates a large radius static defense field in the activation spot, absorbing damage from fast projectiles and energy flows for a couple of seconds. Another scientist's project, Aegis Prime, requires 1 point of energy less. Finally, there are 2 major categories left: engines and generators. First, replace the power of the cabin with its own engine, influencing the acceleration. Important parameters here are the numbers of the critical mass gain and the max speed. Here's a table for clarity. The most striking example here is the powerful Mach 2. Generators, meanwhile, help increase energy consumption of the craft so that you can install additional components. Not a single craft will realize its full potential without these parts aboard. A light generator guarantees 1 point of additional energy, while Apollo gives you 4, which is currently the max value in the game. As you can see, there are a lot of additional parts. Always take them into account when you build a craft, since sometimes all you need for perfection is a couple of small strokes. And here they are, right close at hand. Hello, survivors. Economics is a tough science, and it will live forever, be it bright sun or green grass behind the window, or the remains for the civilization and broken roads. It's the first episode of the Wastes Exchange, and its anchors keep their eyes on the ball of the money relations of the dead world. Our experts are constantly on the market to tell you all the latest trading trends. Today, we're talking copper. A good mechanic always keeps smooth sheets of it at hand. Our experts have been estimating supply and demand on copper for a week 2 times a day, in the morning and in the evening. On the Crossout market, copper is sold in sheets of 10 and 100 pieces. We've been mostly analyzing the second category, but the observation showed that the difference on quantity is not that important. The price of the one sheet, with a difference of several points, is pretty much the same for both. So let's have a look at the graphs. The picture has been pretty much the same during all week. In the morning, 100 sheets of copper may have usually been bought for a bit less than 7 golden coins, while at the end of the day, their price increased up to a peak of 7.44. What about buying? Let's examine the second graph. Don't forget that there's a 10% fee for trading. You'll be notified one more time before you can display your goods. It's also worth mentioning that during the period of record, the supply for copper has always significantly exceeded demand. While 100 sheets were consistently sold by more than 1,000 people simultaneously, the number of those willing to buy copper never surpassed this number. With sheets of 10, the market saturation was even more obvious. More than 2,500 people selling against three-figure numbers of buyers. So what's the advice here? First things first, buy copper early in the morning. It's the most profitable way. Second, taking into account the fee, the difference between selling and buying prices is not that big to make money on the exchange rates. One of the reasons for that is the abundance of supply. The market of the wastes right now is not even close to feeling short of this metal. We're glad to share our data and can adapt it for your use. Please write in the comments what you want to see in the news section. We would be happy if you join. And for now, see you next time. You asked, we answer. Time to see which questions bothered you the most last week. Will there be poisoned weaponry? Would have been very handy in the wastes. It's not yet the time for such weaponry. Factions engineers will definitely report when such technologies appear, at least as prototypes. How long are you gonna stay in beta? When's the release? The release date will be announced after all the set tasks are fulfilled. Will you add winter maps? We plan to add arenas with changing weather conditions in the future. Well, that's it for today, survivors. Looking forward to seeing you in a week to spill some more facts about the Wastes battles. Don't waste your time. Gain experience and toughen up in fights. Also subscribe, and do me a favor, will you? Tell your friends about the show. Leave comments below. It's important for us to know your opinions. Be seeing ya.